Over the last year or so, I've been training and coaching over 100 young Muslim men break into appointment setting and more importantly help land roles with top-notch companies. And the common reasons why people in appointment setting are not landing roles today has nothing to do with experience or where they're from or their prior qualifications. It's got everything to do with the way they conduct and execute an interview. So in this video, I'm going to break down exactly how the interview starts before the interview, how to prepare for it, what to expect, and also a 3-step framework strategy that you can use to ace interviews in any appointment setting interview. And if you stay until the end, I'm going to do a special live breakdown of one of my students in an interview, showing you exactly what he did right and what he could have done better. So let's get right into it, inshallah. Okay, so let's jump into this. Now, as I said already, I'm going to go through the following, but I'm going to add some bonuses for you. Surprise. I'm going to add a follow-up strategy to the 3-step framework that I'm going to give you. I'm also going to throw in 5 forward-thinking questions that demonstrate coachability, which is super important, right? And if you watch till the end, I'm going to do a live breakdown, as I promised, of one of my students in an interview on what he did well and what he could have done better. So without further ado, let's go into it. But before we do, an interview is a job application. This is what many setters seem to think. And sometimes, again, experience is a self-limiting belief, don't get me wrong. Some people think that they need to go into a role with experience, right? With an interview, on an interview and demonstrate that. But an interview shouldn't be treated like a job application. People in appointment setting think you got to come suited and booted, you got to be very formal, you got to treat it like anything other than a genuine conversation, which is exactly what it is in an interview. And why I know this is because when I landed roles in appointment setting and when I landed my biggest offer with a Muslim brand who's doing over 500k a month, I had a 1 hour 40-minute conversation with him, and it was just about my goals, my personality, what I'm looking, what I desire. Like it was more about demonstrating why I could be a leader by picking out real life examples, talking about my transferable skills, and demonstrating that I want to be a long-term asset because I was asking the right questions. So believe me, this is a big misconception that many brothers when they come into appointment setting have, and this is something that we need to break before we start. Move away from thinking that this interview is going to be some 9 to 5 type of interview, because it's not. It's informal. You don't need to turn up with a suit. You don't need to sound formal, and you don't need to treat it like you're being interrogated. So inshallah, keep that in mind while we go through this. Now, the first thing I want to actually go through is how the interview starts before the interview. Now, what do I mean by this? You're about to find out. Number 1, craft a killer Loom video. Let me put it like this. The Loom video is the door entry to an interview. So if your Loom video isn't up to scratch or adequate or, killer, then the chances of even landing an interview is going to be very tough for you. Okay? And we help Muslim brothers in our program where we work one-to-one with them until we get it right? Persistence, taking the feedback, refining it until we get it right. So crafting a killer Loom video is very important because it's the make or break in landing the interviews. It's like a very well-written CV that demonstrates key examples. But a CV is irrelevant. You don't really need it in high-ticket sales. And that's actually a bonus and an advantage for all of us. Like, you don't need to craft a CV and, spend hours on it. Rather, do a 1 minute to 1 minute 30-second video of yourself demonstrating why they should at least bring you by the minimum into an interview. Number 2 is selecting the right offer. I tell my students all the time, if you want to perform well in an offer, pick the right offer. Why? Because ultimately, you're going to be setting individuals into a closing call and helping them transform and change their life. Because high-ticket sales is all about transformations. Whether it's a physical transformation, whether it's a lifestyle transformation, whether it's a religious transformation in terms of making hijrah, for example. So you got to have full conviction in that offer. It's got to align with your values. It's got to align with what you believe in. How could you be setting for an offer when deep down in the back of your head, you're setting that person, you're thinking, yeah, I'm just going to set you, but I'm in it for the money, but I don't really think that this offer is going to really look after you. That's a new low. Like, that deep down, you're 50-50, you're half-hearted, you don't have full conviction in that offer. Would you like someone to set you on a call when you really don't believe in that offer? No. So selecting the right offer is very important because it's going to be reflected in your interview. Think about it like this. If you select the right offer, your Loom video is going to be great, your interview is going to be great, your performance on the road is going to be great. Number three, understanding setting. The reason why I put this is because if you understand the objectives of setting, on the rare occasion you might be asked to do a role play session on the interview. And by the way, I've helped a lot of young brothers land roles in the Muslim setting space, and very few of them had role play sessions to do in those interviews. Okay, and this is a top notch company where they have a very robust interview process, a stage one and a stage two. But I wanted to cover this. So, understanding the objective of setting, which is understanding someone's pain, and the key word here being understand. If you're looking for someone's where they currently are, where they want to get to, what about their situation is bothering them, what they're frustrated about, what they don't like about the situation, and why they want to move from that place to their desired outcome, then setting or role play is going to be easy if you're thrown in the spot and you're asked to perform under pressure. Okay? So that's interview, starting before the interview. So how to prepare and what to expect. So let's jump into this, okay? So number one, communicate your goals. Don't come with shallow answers. Yeah, I want to make more money. Okay, you can make more money if you're doing a 9 to 5 job. Why do you want to do it with appointment setting? Have clear goals, clearly defined goals. Make sure you have a strong why as to why you want to work for this company and how that company can help you get to those goals. Because ultimately, if someone has a lofty goal, then the energy, the dedication, the work ethic in that role is going to be second to none. Therefore, you make money, but more importantly, they're going to make money. So if they can see that you have clear defined goals and you're trying to reach a certain income goal, or you're trying to reach a certain lifestyle or a spiritual goal, they can see that hunger and desire in you to actually go and chase that goal. Then they know that this person is going to perform or even outperform everyone on that team. Number two, clear communication. Communication is at the forefront of sales. You need to be a clear communicator. Sometimes, not sometimes, always, hiring managers can see through you unless they're a crap hiring manager. Communication is by far the most important trait that you need in appointment setting. In your Loom videos, in your interviews, in networking, in when you get into the role, of course. So your tonality, it needs to be there. You can't fumble on your words. You got to be eloquent in your speech. You got to be clear. You got to be able to effectively communicate and demonstrate examples, which we're going to get into in a second. So this needs to be very, very dialed in. Okay. Number three, stability. Now think about it like this. If there was two brothers or three brothers being interviewed, one guy's talking about how he's married, he's got kids. Another guy's talking about how he's got little bit of an shaky type of schedule. And the other one's saying, listen, I got 8 hours, I got 6 hours. Give me the hours that you need from me. I'm going to give it to you. Okay. Who do you think is going to get picked? Stability is so important because you're here to create revenue for that company. Are they here trying to bite the bullet on you only for you to be the cause of them losing out on X amount of revenue? Absolutely not. Right? Now, don't get me wrong. You can go part-time in this, but it also depends on the offer. If the offer's fine and it's not a very massive offer, then they might be happy with it. And some people do bite the bullet because the rest is there, meaning they can see you as a long-term asset. You've got clear communications, you're very talented, and you know how to sell yourself and demonstrate key examples, and you've got transferable skills. So stability is important, but it's not as important as clear communication and communicating your goals, because the proof I have for that is young brothers in our program, part-timers, have landed roles, even though they don't have the entire day that's free. Okay. Number four, high ticket is informal. Misconception that I was talking about earlier on. You got to realize that you're going into an interview to have a genuine conversation. As I stated before, I had a conversation, which was an interview, but it was a conversation. It was 1 hour, 40 minutes, just about. We had a normal conversation. We got to know each other. Those are the best interviews. When you build rapport, you go in, you don't feel like, okay, fire the questions at me. I'm ready for it. I've practiced it. I've practiced the exam. That's not how it is. It's just like a setting conversation. It's got to be a genuine conversation. And the best conversations are the genuine ones. So don't treat it like an interrogation. Treat it as something like, okay, you want to qualify me? That's fine. I also want to qualify you, but let's get to know each other a little bit better. Let's see if you're a fit for me and I'm a fit for you. But by having a nice, genuine conversation. Number five, as I said, treat it like normal conversation. Now, this is what a lot of people, like I said, fail on, and it's intertwined with high ticket being informal. I did jump the gun a little bit, but just remember, treat it like a normal conversation, because those are the best ones. And they don't even, the interview shouldn't even be in your head. Like, it shouldn't even be framed as an interview. Just go in, I'm having a conversation with this person. I want to see if I can help their company. I want to bring my skill set. You are the business. You're marketing your skills. You're a self-employed entrepreneur. This is what you got to understand. Number 6, one of the most important parts. Put it like this: the person who asks the most questions normally goes on to land the role. Of course, don't just throw any questions randomly. Throw the right questions in. Yeah. So we're gonna go through that. There's different types of questions you can ask: revenue questions, questions about the team, questions about the culture, questions about the leadership, questions that demonstrate coachability, which we're gonna go into in a second. Now, the 3-step execution strategy. Step 1, no experience, no problem. Demonstrate real life examples. This is how to stand out, because you can say I'm coachable, I got resilience, I'm a team player, and I give me these reps, I'm going to do these reps. But can you demonstrate it through tangible real life examples? See, when I went to an interview, right, something that I demonstrated very well was that I have a lot of transferable skills. And I demonstrated that through my previous roles when I was in a 9 to 5. Did you see how a 9 to 5 lab actually did help me? Right? That's the only thing it did help me with, and pay me as well. Okay. But like I said, I was able to demonstrate that I was able to adapt in my role. I follow this method called the STAR method, which I was taught back in college days, or just before college days. I'm pretty sure it's college, but yeah, STAR method. Check it out. It's a traditional method that you can use. Which is situation, task, action, result. And I demonstrated that example. And you can pick out the tougher situation you had, maybe coping under pressure, maybe problem solving, maybe staying resilient, maybe adapting to a role. I used the demonstration of, I went to so many different roles, and alhamdulillah, I performed very well. I was able to adapt to every single role, while they weren't even similar, although they were in sales, right? So I was able to demonstrate that. And there's many things you can use, okay? Like I said, coping under pressure, habit or system that you build, very important, like discipline, okay? Some people, students in my Loom videos, they talk about how they're disciplined through MMA or gym, and they've been doing that for years. One brother I mentioned in his Loom video that he lost like 5 kg or something like that. What does that demonstrate? It demonstrates discipline, okay? Step 2, business understanding. Very important. Don't go in there with a lack of research. Yes, research can mean your definition of research and my definition of research is completely different. This is what you need to do. Go through their funnel, understand their pricing, understand the way they have a follow-up strategy, understand the industry, understand the offer, how it stands out in the market, study the prospect's pain points and goals, understand their audience and the market that they're trying to serve. Okay, what that shows, it demonstrates business understanding, yet it also shows eagerness and real hunger to work for that company, because you're not doing what the average person's doing, like going on the website and just checking a couple testimonials out. Yeah, I saw this testimonial. Yeah, I saw how you did XYZ. It was a really great story. Yeah, well, everyone says that. Okay, so business understanding is very important. Step 3, one of my favorites: demonstrate coachability. Ask questions that demonstrate how you're going to be a long-term asset that they can mold. If there's one guy who's experienced, who has a ego, and another person who has hard work in him, you can see it. You can see it through his passion, enthusiasm, and the quality of questions that he asks. That manager will pick that person. And again, tangible proof. We've had many unseasoned Muslim appointment setters that I've trained and coached, and I've helped them craft their new videos one-to-one, and I've also helped them prepare for interviews. We have a really good course in our school community where we take them from A to Z, and we help them prepare very well for interviews, group interviews, one-to-one interviews, and a bunch of questions that they have that they can use. And if you haven't checked us out already, click on the link below and see if you want to work with us. We help Muslim men, train them, coach them, help them become part of the elite in the Muslim space. Most importantly, help them land roles, and don't just leave them there. We don't wash our hands. We continue supporting them, because it's all about leveling up as a setter. So landing the first role is the first thing. And between that is the application process. And we're there every step of the way. Now, can you be coached? These are the questions that signal serious intent. Okay, personality traits are the following. You got low ego, you've got ability to take feedback, you're growth driven rather than money driven. These are some of the traits that they're looking at. They want to see you as a long-term asset that, like I said, can mold And they want to have confidence in that, okay, if I bite the bullet on someone who doesn't have much experience, I know in 1 month, 3 months, this guy's going to be a killer, right? So this is very, very important. Coachability questions. As I said, I was going to give you coachability questions. So, what does success look like for a setter in 90 days? What KPIs do I need to be hitting, for example? Why? Because you're already these are forward-thinking questions. Like, I want to come in and I already want to know what you're expecting of me so I can come in and hit the ground running. Number two, what is the challenge for your sales team is currently facing so I can work on that? It might be a leak in the sales system. It might be a lack of SOPs. It might be a lack of structure. And it might be some of these stats that you're looking at. So you're already thinking as a problem solver. And not just that, you're not thinking like an employee. You're thinking like a business owner. Where do you get most of your traffic from? Okay, this is something that, again, it demonstrates awareness. Number four, how is feedback delivered here? For example, one-to-ones, call reviews. You take feedback very seriously. You want long-term growth. Number five, if the offer scales, how do you see this role evolving over the next 6 to 12 months? You're not coming here just thinking about short-term, I want to make some money. You're thinking about, listen, how can I ascend? If I ascend, it's a clear indication that the offer will ascend. Because what you're trying to do is you're creating revenue for the company. So if you grow in the role, so will the company. That's obviously a recognition. If the company grows, so will you. Vice versa. Number six, what tools and systems will I be using? Very good question. Demonstrates how you already want, you're taking the role seriously. You want to use good systems. You want to maximize your performance. So these, I gave you 6, subhanallah. So there's an extra one for you, inshallah ta'ala. Yeah. Right, how to follow up? So, very simple. Send a Loom video and break the pattern. Now, after you do an interview, most 95%, if not 99% of setters sit back, wait for the answer, maybe do a little follow-up message. That's not good enough. If I was a hiring manager and someone did this, I would be very impressed. Send a Loom video, break the pattern. When I say break the pattern, do something out of the ordinary and break down the understanding of the offer. Show them that you know and you understand and you grasp that audience that they're serving. And also show your setting style. You're not sending anything, you're sending the meeting. And then show how you would approach conversations. Okay, that's part of also showing how you would set and why the offer stands out. So do some research about the offer, look at the competitors, see how they're doing something better than the competitors, and demonstrate that in a video. And I promise you, that hiring manager, when you send it to them, is going to be very, very impressed. Alhamdulillah. So that, my brothers, is everything. But we've got something special, so don't go just yet. Because we're about to do a live breakdown of my student in the interview, and I will show you exactly how he performed well in certain areas and what he could have definitely done better. So I'll see you there. Okay, so let's jump right into it, inshallah. This is one of my students who's having an interview with a business owner, and this brother helps Muslim men who are techie and have some sales, some tech background, and he helps them start up their own AI agency and scaling that business with a mid-ticket and a high-ticket mentorship program. He's actually a very, very well-known brother who's in this high-ticket sales game. You guys probably heard of him and seen him around on YouTube, and he has a really, really good program, and he's a really good Muslim brother as well. But before having said all of that, inshallah, we're going to go through exactly what my student did well and what he could have done better. So let's get ready to dissect this.
Nice. And where are you, like, what is your origin, your ethnicity?
Originally, my family, my grandparents are from Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So that's from my family ethnicity. But my parents and stuff are from here, of course, and then like the same, I'm from here as well. But I enjoyed that side of my ethnic, so I'm still very bilingual and stuff like that. So it's still part of my day-to-day life. It's not like I still go there. We went a few years ago, like tried to go every couple of years and whatnot. So how about yourself? I think I've seen that you're from Grozny, is that right?
The Caucasus region. Maybe Chechnya, Dagestan, like that region. So right next to there's Ingushetia.
Okay.
That's where I'm from, right next to Chechnya, basically. So it's very similar culture, religion, etc. Basically from the mountains, from that region.
Okay, so basically what I wanted to point out here is one of the best things you can do when you hop into an interview is build rapport. It's going to help you later. Open up, it's a genuine conversation. Don't forget that. And this is exactly something that he started off well, my student. Alhamdulillah, he broke the ice, started asking some questions about where he's from, background, things like that. I think he started off very, very well in building that rapport, breaking the ice, and getting that comfortable feeling of settling into the interview. Some people just go straight into it, and that's not what we want to do. So that's one thing that he did very well.
It's much stronger. We have like a bunch of people work on delivery, make sure that the students are happy. We contact clients with multiple strategies on like how to send email outreaches, DMs, etc., how to make content to get clients. Then we show them how to find developers. We show them how to build the solutions. We show them the full package. We try to give a bunch of templates away. We have a community where like all the coaches are there answering questions every day. We try to provide as much value as possible to the brothers. I care a lot about delivery. I want to make sure that we actually help people, that if someone pays us money, we over deliver on our promises. This is really
Yeah, definitely.
I've hired a team. Like I have multiple people who are just working on service delivery. Our sales team right now is pretty weak, but our delivery team is much stronger. We have like a bunch of people work on delivery, make sure that the students are happy. We constantly innovate.
Right. So basically, here, what the offer owner was talking about was a little bit of his an insight into his internal team. One part is sales, and one part is his marketing and sales. The other part is systems, operations, fulfillment. He was very honest and upfront, saying that his sales team is weak. Remember one of the key questions that I talked about, coachability questions. Now, this is not a typical interview, and that's what I said to you, brothers. Well, if you're watching this, I said to you that this isn't someone sitting back being interrogated, and the person's just firing questions at him. So remember one of the key questions that I told you about, which was the coachability questions that I demonstrated. One of them was, what's a weakness in your sales team that I can fix? See, my student failed to ask this question. He failed to ask this question, and he's been taught that. So it's just something that slipped his mind.
Thoughts in the calendar, we get less lead on Berkeley, right?
But what would your criteria be, or indicators be, to your indicators be to see that it would be high ticket?
So usually it's their salary, their income. So where they work, what type of a job do they have? That's one. Second is how eager they are to get started. If they, for example, they already know about us well, and you know that it looks like they're very eager to start. Usually that's like the two main indicators. But finances, that they're earning, so this means that they can afford to pay more. And second is how determined they are. When you do the setting, we also want to make sure that the expectation for people is clear, that if they want to slack off, have something like quick money or stuff like this, usually they're not qualified for a program. We can't get them results. They're very bad clients usually, and it's not good. So we want to make sure that we set expectations correctly. We tell them, listen, this is a serious problem.
Right, two things here. So one thing, my student, he didn't really show any encouraging signs or make an impression by asking the question of, so what are the indicators that determine whether someone's fit, okay, or indicators of someone who has the capability to purchase the high ticket program. Obviously he was talking about his low ticket and his mid ticket and his high ticket. Now, as an appointment setter, you need to understand setting. There's certain qualifiers. There's the pain. There's the intent / urgency. There is the time and the finances. So simply put, the person who's more qualified in terms of more of a financial budget, he's gonna be more qualified for the high ticket program. So he did demonstrate there, his understanding of setting. And number two, the other thing is that the offer owner was explaining a lot about the fulfillment and a lot about the offer. So he didn't do enough research on the business understanding. Remember when I taught you, brothers, about the funnel, the ICP, the pain points of the client, of the specific ICP. That's not something he did well.
For you to try to at least have that. But the main thing we want to look at is actually how many qualified calls, right? That's the metric.
Yeah, I can do, for me, so it's between 4 p.m. UK time to about 10. So a good 5 to 6 hours I'm available every day. And then I was going to ask you if you'd like someone to work on the weekends, because I'd also enjoy that as well.
Yes.
Maybe not both.
Right. So what my student did very well here is, of course, he's good. Right. By the way, he's doing this part time. So he comes back from work and he jumps straight onto the offer. Now, because there was a bit of a restriction in terms of navigating around the time zones, because a lot of his audience are from Canada and US, he asked a really good question that demonstrates seriousness, intent, and someone who wants to put in the reps by asking, "Can I work weekends?" That is like music to the ears, not literally, by the way, but for hiring managers to hear that. Okay, this guy, he's willing to put in the reps. He's willing to do overtime, and not necessarily overtime, but compensate for the hours on the weekdays, because he's a bit restricted on that time. And the business owner was really happy with that. And he said, yeah, to be honest, he went on to say the weekends is probably the best time for the US and Canadian leads anyway. So you know what? If you can work those hours, that'd be absolutely great.
They're calling from the Ummah Accelerator, the Code Bender program.
The Ummah Accelerator. Yeah. Who are you guys? What do you do?
I'm calling from the Code Bender program. You signed up a few weeks ago to learn how to start an AI agency. You signed up to one of our classes.
Basically.
Okay, yeah. And prior to the class, have you seen anything else from Zobek's content?
I think I saw some videos, and also there was an ad I think I signed up through either through his channel or through an ad like that I saw. And I was just curious because it's for Muslims, so I really like the fact that it's helps our business and then it's focused on Muslims. And I had, yeah, I was just interested in the class. Like the class looked very interesting.
Okay, yeah. So I've just got a few minutes here before I get into my next call.
Yeah.
And what I'll do is just discover, where you are currently and where you're looking to get with, starting this AI program. And if it fits, or if you align with the people that we're able to help with the program,
Yeah.
I'll put you through to one of our consultants, and he'll be able to give you, the best to the program, or show you the mentorship or whatever the offer is. Just say, he'll be able to give you without having to go through the classroom again. So I can give you direct access.
So you'll explain how you can help me start a business, basically, right?
Yeah, show you exactly how to do it, because you weren't able to attend. I'll be able to put you through directly to the consultant.
Got it. Okay, sounds good.
Okay. Yeah. So what was your specific reason for looking to actually start an AI agency at the minute?
Yeah, so I currently work as a developer, and I know that my job is not safe because of AI, and I want to start to be like, I've been trying to start different businesses before. I looked into e-commerce online, tried a few things, but it like I didn't make really much money with those things. I'm looking for something that is riding on the AI wave. For me to quit my job, I need to be at least like, if for me to quit my job, I need to be at least like, I need to make good money, right? Like I need to match my salary or higher so that I can.
Yeah. What would your income? What would your goal be for that then, to get this agency to?
I don't know, like maybe 10K a month, something like that.
Okay, and that would allow you to match your, obviously actually leave your 9 to 5.
Yeah, inshallah.
Okay, yeah, and you said you tried a few things in the past. How far are you from actually 10,000 a month with the agency?
Right, I'm not going to play the whole role play. Now, I did mention to you on the previous video that we did in terms of the interview strategy, that role play sometimes can come up. Of course, it just depends on the person. It depends on the hiring manager, what he's looking for. A lot of my guys, my students have been into interviews where they don't have to do role play. But on this one, he had to do some role play. It was a 7-minute role play. It was a lean, efficient conversation. This is exactly how the hiring manager wanted it. He wanted simply setting the frame, giving some context before setting the frame, and then qualifying his pain and why he wants to get into a business, and then doing the time and the finances. Now, what I picked up from my student was that the clear communication wasn't there. And I spoke about how important this is. And because I don't want to make this video very, very long, I heard what the hiring manager had to say after the role play finished, and he said, "I didn't feel like you're confident, and I didn't feel like you're a clear communicator." More important on the confident part, because sometimes the prospects can sniff it, and sometimes they get the resistance rises, or the doubt starts to enter their hearts. So the intro could have been much better. The framing could have been much better. He was a little. It wasn't smooth. It wasn't smooth. And when it came to the actual pain, he didn't probe around it enough. What do you mean by AI is going to take over my job, for example? How long have you been actually looking for it? Why didn't those things work out? These are some of the questions that he kind of brushed past. But the finances was fine. He went on to talk about exactly what he's earning at the moment, and what's the bridge right now in terms of what's the difference between what you're earning now compared to what you want to earn. So the finances are okay, but he did miss one question, which is, okay, like if this made sense for you, what's your actual budget to spend? Because he might have certain amount of savings, and the hiring manager goes on to say, mate, I've got about 10K. He wants to reach 10K. Sorry, he didn't really quantify how much money he has to invest. Okay, time wise is fine, and the transition could have been better. Meaning the transition is when you go from now the discovery phase to the proposal. So that's what he didn't really do very well.
Yes, and I've had to do since I was a kid, answer the phone, and I've noticed what it is when you keep a neutral tone and just go through it instead of trying to convince someone, because if someone's the right lead, they'll be the right lead regardless. I don't need to make sure that they're the right lead. So even when I'm answering, I heard a couple of recordings of.
So here we reached the end of the interview. I want to point out that this was a very genuine conversation. It wasn't like back and forth questioning. It was a nice, genuine conversation. They were talking about the offer. My student was somewhat confident. I think there could have been a bit more personality, more enthusiasm, could have brought more out of him. But maybe it's just the way he is. Okay. The other thing is, right now he's mentioning an example, but he didn't demonstrate how that example of performing under a high pressure environment, because he's talking about how he used to work for his family businesses and he used to always be someone who's answering the phone from a very young age. So he could have demonstrated exactly how he's been able to cope under pressure, how he's learned really good communication skills, how he is how he's supporting the client that he's having a conversation with, how that's the best interest of his heart. Okay, so these are some of the things that he could have demonstrated in terms of showing how some of the skills that he's learned can be carried over to here, and why he's going to be befitting for this job. So that's the end, and that's everything I wanted to go through. Overall, I'd score it maybe a 6 to 7 out of 10. He did ask some really good questions. He also missed out on some really good questions. He didn't demonstrate enough examples. I think the role play could have been a lot more smoother, and I think it was just the nerves got to him a little bit, and that happens because for hiring managers, they just want to get a sense of, have you got the structure? Do you understand how to qualify? Can you understand the actual prospects? And he did do that somewhat, and he did qualify the prospects, like I said, somewhat. But again, could have done a lot better. And if we review this together, which we will do, we will see exactly how he can level up in acing a future interview. So there we have it, brothers. Now, if you correctly implement everything that I've given you, making sure that you prepare before the interview, knowing what to expect, and also following my 3-step framework as well as the follow-up strategy, in no time you'll land your first appointment setting role while acing your interview. And I know this because I've helped young Muslim brothers leave their 9-to-5 life. I've helped craft their Loom videos. I've helped them prepare for interviews and then gone on to land their first 1 to 5K paying role with top-notch Muslim and non-Muslim companies. So if you really want to master appointment setting, want to accelerate your growth, and you want help from us in terms of training you, coaching you, helping you conduct all these interviews, your Loom videos, and giving you lifetime access to our program with networks and an internal job board, then click on the link below to see if you want to apply in working with us. But if you really want to go solo, then at least check out my free appointment setting course, which you can see right now on the screen. And inshallah ta'ala, I really hope you benefited. Please like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you on the next one.